Back from the break, and you saw that one shade tree by a man who has, we all admire him in this country due to his works and the achievements that he has, been able to do for himself over the years. And Rocky Dawuni is our guest. He is, as Anaya mentioned, 3-time nominee for the Grammys. When we're talking about Grammys, the first person that will come to mind is Rocky Dawuni from Ghana. I mean, if the conversation starts from Ghana, you definitely hear Rocky Dawuni. And so today, we're going to get into, I guess it's the first time. This is the first time he's joined us on the table, so we're going to learn a lot from him. His music, his upbringing, everything. Of course, the Grammy conversation there. So far as he's here, it will come and we'll talk about that. And so do want to join us. We are live on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana, and also you can check out all our accounts there as we talk to Rocky Dawuni this afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Dawuni.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you join us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and get to connect with all of you. It's a pretty colorful gathering here this afternoon.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier about the table.
Yeah, I love the table. I mean,
like
at
a
first when I came, I
spaceship.
was like,
Yeah.
it looks like a place where conflicts can be resolved because there are
Resolved,
different
I know we want-
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have enough distance from each other, so that your differences can.
Definitely. You can solve that.
Yes, can be solved, yes,
Yeah. So we're excited that you joined us here. First off, reading about you, I realized that you grew up in the barracks
Yes.
at Michelle Camp.
Yes, in Michelle.
Yeah, I lived at Afariwa Bethlehem, so like
Oh wow.
that's just a stone throw to Michelle
Yeah,
Camp.
yeah.
But how was the upbringing like? Everybody has a story,
Yes.
and how you're brought up influences the kind of things that you do, in that journey. Was there any influence from that?
Of course, I mean, there is the proverbial barracks boy concept. Barracks boys are fearless. Barracks boys, because you come from an environment of discipline. Because my father was in the army, and every soldier made sure that you were a disciplined kid. So if your parents don't discipline you, somebody else would
Who do
discipline
that?
you. So you grew up with that mindset. And then also, I think that one of the beautiful things that I can talk about in terms of growing up in the barracks is that, we are a country of various tribes and cultures, and sometimes if you don't grow in a city where you have everybody kind of interacting and you grow in your own area, you don't get to experience the other tribes and cultures. But in the barracks, within a small ecosystem, you have, every tribe, every language. So when we're growing up too, because of that plurality, it allowed me to also experience and learn languages. I was able to, in terms of speak Hausa, speak a level of Ga, speak Fanti, Chi, so all of these things allowed me to become a much more my experience of this country to be much more in a much more larger way, and I think that, and then the barracks too, the Ghanaian army at that time too was spending a lot of time too as part of the UN peacekeeping forces. Okay. So whenever they traveled, the soldiers always brought new music. So there was always new music that you were not hearing on the radio that came to the barracks all the time when they arrived.
And this was how many years ago?
Oh, this was my childhood. It was during the Jerry Rollins time. So I'm talking of the time I was born.
Definitely.
In terms of that, there. Wow. So that was kind of the foundation that, and then it was also the time of Jerry Rollins. So you had the power of the nation with the army. So you were dealing with an environment of intense politics, an environment of a lot of music, an environment of discipline, an environment of plurality because all the tribes were there, and then also the military band too was one of the best that I can imagine up till now. So I grew up as a child of that. So these were all things that were foundational for me as a person and helped define my worldview, my sense of discipline as a musician, the way I see the world, the way I see Ghana as, not necessarily as really, different tribes. I see Ghana as one wholesome entity with, diverse, beautiful attributes of cultural and tribal contributions that has made us such a beautiful nation. And at the same time, too, I am somebody too that was exposed to so many diverse forms of music that has, although people see me as a reggae artist, I'm much more, kind of express a much more larger sound than reggae music. So in a gist, that was the influence of my childhood in terms of who I became. And then, being a child of the military too, the era of Jerry Rawlings too, politics was always around. So my outlook too in the world was also, politics was of great interest to me, and that is also expressed in my music.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, all of these influences. Then we were talking about military back in the day, not today's space.
Hey, careful.
No. I'm being careful. What I mean is that growing up in the eras have changed.
Yes.
Right, and so growing up in the military space is different from back in the day as compared to now. That's what I mean.
We're more democratic
No,
now.
compared
to then.
Well, the thing is that we are a democratic country, and our democracy is not perfect. Just like every place. And I think that even the concept of democracy, we have to be bold enough to know that democracy is not a one-size-fits-all philosophy. So when you have an ideology that works, let's say, in one country, when you bring it to Africa, you have to know that considerations of the tribal considerations, family considerations. We have a close-knit family system, not like the West where, it's like there's family, but it's not like how Africa we have that. We have our traditional cultural alliances and all of those. So we have to be able to take that concept and not necessarily the Western variant of it and wear it like as a straitjacket, trying to really wiggle our way around. We have to adapt it to represent where we want to go. So I always see, every philosophy has to be seen in African eyes and reinterpreted for the needs of our people and for it to also serve our people and what we view as our collective direction together.
I mean, you were talking about your sound.
Yes.
And how all that you've mentioned have influenced it. And I must say that your sound is quite unique. Even though you do reggae, it has a sort of blend of different genres.
Yes.
What inspired that?
The thing is that I always say that, each of us, when you do an experiment, when you go back home and you say, what music do I like, without thinking of genres, you see that the songs that you like is not one genre. There's some high life songs you like. There's some reggae song. Maybe you don't like reggae, but there's some reggae song you like. And then you see like some hip hop song. Like I don't like hip hop, but I like that hip hop song. So we are, we are an influence of so many different styles. And so as an artist too, I didn't want to be restricted. Because when you are in an industry that tries to box you, they're like, oh, you're a reggae artist. But if you're a reggae artist, you don't have to just rehash what people are doing. You have an artist, you have a unique voice. You have an opportunity to also break new grounds in places where people have not done before. And to do that wholesomely, you have to be true to your influences. So for me, I let my influences direct me creatively. And coming from a foundation of traditional music, because when I was attending services primary, I tell people that, I was in the cultural troupe, so at a very young age, I learned the drum patterns and dances of the various regions of Ghana. So it was an aspect of me, the music. And then high life music, of course, is our, Ghanaian sound, my early ages, from Ampedu to KK's band to, all of the Ghanaian sound was the music that I listened to before I discovered even reggae. So when I discovered reggae, it was because of the message. And then, of course, hip hop and all of these sounds. So when I'm creating, I don't create based on genre, I create based upon inspiration. So you never know where you are and what influence will come in and inform your songwriting. And by the time you see, You know, your influence, the song that you're writing is influenced by maybe the high life song that you heard maybe 20 years ago from your mother and all of that. So that's how the creative process works. And I think that has helped me also be fearless in my creativity and has helped me expand my sound to not only within the confines of Ghana and Africa, but also all around the world.
Okay.
So that's how sorry, still on the genre part, that's how I became Afro Roots.
Afro roots,
Afro
yes,
roots,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, African, roots means the foundation.
Foundation, yeah.
So it's like the foundation of whatever is the root of. And then when you think of Afro roots to African sound can be, the seed of African sound can be found in all the diasporian music. Because it's people of African descent who are brothers and sisters genetically who left here, populated Jamaica, populated Brazil, populated America. So when you think of jazz, rock and roll, hip hop, all of those sounds, you can distill all of it to Africa. Okay. You know,
Beautiful.
we haven't been bold enough to claim all of that, but I think that, you know, when it comes to really claiming, we can really claim all of those sounds having their inception and inspiration and conception from people of African descent.
That means that Africa, we have so much more, but unfortunately, we are probably not taking it and, you know, identifying ourselves with it. But then you were talking about how, you know, back in the day in the barracks, you know, people can actually, you know, when someone does wrong, a young child, the other person can correct them and all. Yes. But I think times have changed where people don't really look out for other people's kids and all. And in the same light, the young musician, they said that they are not as creative as you guys used to be in the time. I mean, we had Tego Sisters here just some few days back, and they were saying that there is not so much creativity at this moment. What are your thoughts? Do you think that a young
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I
creative?
think we are actually in a time of amazing creativity. I mean, Ghanaian musicians of today are incredible. And you can see that a lot of them too have learned from, you know, previous knowledge and are adding new knowledge and are creating, you know. The thing that we don't have is a unified scene. You see, because even listen to the playlist. The playlist, you know, we are taking our playlist from Apple Music, all of these things that are not indigenous to us.
Yeah.
And so the playlisting is coming from somebody who doesn't even have connection to Ghana, but is the one in charge of playlisting. And then we all download that, and that's what we push. So our system is hacked when you think about that. What is our collective, you know, work towards supporting everything that is ours? What is our efforts to create an ecosystem that is wholesomely Ghanaian and dedicated to Ghana and narrating the Ghanaian sonic artistic story? You know, there's no collective kind of collaborative effort.
Right.
And when you look at, you know, even you look at the media, and this is not to attack the media, but when you look at the media, what type of character in terms of the programming really reflects who we are as a people, as Africans? You know, everything is trying to become, you know, an aspect of somebody else's culture from a people who were the inceptors of global culture. You know what I mean? All we have to do is own our Africanness. Everybody in the world right now is trying to be African. That's what we have to know.
True.
Yeah.
And we are pushing forward, trying to become them. When all of that, they want to be us.
Yeah.
So we need to be proud of who we are. We need to nurture our tribal languages, cultures, not as a means to divide us politically. And one tribe will say, "Hey, I'm better than the other." You know, we no more me say, we no more you say, and we pepe ni we say, we you know, and all of those kind of things that culturally now in a modern plural world are means of dividing us.
Yeah.
We should re-look at those things as a means of bringing us together and see that the culture is our beauty in our diversity. And I think when we start looking at things that way, elevating our culture, adding to our modern concept of the world, making it our own brand, controlling our source culture and not have other people come and take our source culture and sell it back, and then having a concerted plan to support each other and move each other forward.
Yeah, but I
That
mean,
will help.
on the back of what you said,
Yes.
for someone like you, who has been at the forefront of everything over the years, representation has been very critical to you. in terms of representing Africa and also your country, Ghana.
Yes.
What has been, or what was the main primary objective for an artist in terms of bridging the gap for people to know your music, your message, and
Yes.
where you are from?
For me, it was something that, I knew that, some of these paths, you have to walk it alone sometimes, and so, you have your core team and people that you believe in, and you have to have some sort of core message and also know a kind of plan or methodology by which you can get your message heard or your message disseminated, and also know the sphere of influence that you want.
Yeah.
I wanted my music to go global from the onset. I knew that I had a message that was universal.
Yeah.
My message was integral to Ghana because I'm a Ghanaian, so my perspective, my worldview started from Ghana, but I was always keen to learn because I knew that I don't have all the answers and I don't have all the knowledge. The only way to move is to be opened enough to learn more so that I keep expanding my realm. So from the onset, I knew that I had to go to, travel to places where the industry was. I traveled to Los Angeles. I stayed in LA. In terms of the music industry, started learning, interning for record companies, trying to learn how the business worked, taking that knowledge integrating that knowledge because it's like school. Nobody's going to teach you, and there's no school that was teaching that here. So you go there, you find that knowledge, and then you put it into your own strategy as to how, because there was nobody that was there opening the gate for you.
Yeah.
So you have to create your own gates and open it yourself.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset. And that was my mindset going. And then when I got to Los Angeles, I realized that people were not ready for my sound. So either I had to create a system for it or not. So I started a club with other partners, and we created Afrofunky, which became a huge cultural kind of oasis in Los Angeles. And everybody, when it became popular, everybody came to Afrofunky. Stevie Wonder, you name it, everybody. And this was something that we organized. So I got the opportunity of doing my annual concerts, my record releases, all of that, and it attracted the media from everywhere. I didn't go to the media. I just created an environment, and they came to me. And then all the African artists who were touring America, first of all of them want to land in Afrofunky because we could harness press for them. So these were all stuff that I did.
You did for yourself.
I did for myself, but it also stuff that I recognized that it was also a means to create the platform to keep pushing my music because there was nobody there that was leading the way for me.
So we can say that was like the aim and the standard you set for yourself.
Yes.
You didn't have to get there for the system or their standard to
give
define
me permission.
You. Okay.
I knew that from the onset here, I built my resilience. I knew that everywhere you land in a place where, so you and your core team, myself, my management, and, a few people around me, we made that decision and we just worked at it. And we were never kind of every failure or every slam door or every, body like pulling you aside never was a means for us to take a step back. It was an inspiration for us to look at how do we circumvent the gatekeepers. So we started creating our own gates, even in America, in all of that. And that is how we set up. By the time right now Afrofunky is a brand that even does festivals in America. So I go and headline the festivals whilst I'm here in Ghana. And they bring artists from all of those places, and we collaborate with big brands from the, the last concert I did there, I did it in front of the California State House, in a big, huge concert there, for 4th of July with, thousands and thousands of people. The last one I did, again, was at Grand Performances, huge with, close to 7,000 people at that concert. But this was something that we created from the onset and built it up. So most people sometimes when they look at things, they think it's like a quick rush. It's been years of coming against, adversarial doorways and really creating a means by which we can circumvent.
That's what I was
and also
going to
build
come to that when you said that the people were not ready for your music. And also now when we talk about Rocky Dawuni, everybody says, oh, like you just mentioned, everyone think that, oh, bam, and it just happened.
No.
You know, so take us to, let us understand the challenges of the people not accepting your music at that time. And you know, you've talked about this circumventing it, but
Yes.
the real challenges with that.
No, the challenges are that, you know, when you're a musician, first of all, my first record, which was The Movement. So after I left Legon, you know, I went to the America, you know, my first band was in Legon, Local Crisis. We started getting some traction here, but I wanted to learn more. Went to America, started really hanging out in the clubs, learning a lot and all of that, interning for record labels. Immediately, I was able to get enough finance. I came back to Ghana with my musicians and recorded my first record. Okay. So the first record, by then too, I had learned how like record companies, A&R, and how to do so. Here I am with my first record. I made sure that it was sent to every major A&R in the US by myself, you know what I mean? Because it's knowledge that I went and sought out. And then what goes around was, you know, an A&R person at Atlantic Records at that time gave me a call out of the blue. And it's like, hey, we just got your tape, and we really like that song. We're actually doing a compilation called Reggae Next Generation. So we want to license What Goes Around, and What Goes Around was licensed as part of it. So all of a sudden, I was inside that scope. And then I was like, okay, college radio. I had learned college radio from this, so I had my own college radio database. Started at home, started calling all those college record pools, all of that stuff. Hey, there's a new record here, you know, that kind of stuff. Can you playlist the record label and all of it? You know, because I had to learn that because you needed that knowledge to move forward.
Yeah.
So coming back to your question,
The challenges.
The challenges were that many people at that time, being an African musician who was independent, you know, most African musicians at that time who were successful were signed to labels in France.
Yeah.
So you can talk the Youssou N'Dours, you can talk the Alpha Blondies, you can talk the Angelique Kidjos. They were all from Francophone countries who had record deals in France and who had promotional French labels who were doing all of this work. But we, especially in the English-speaking countries, did not have those foundational institutions that were pushing us. So you had to reinvent everything. And so for me, that was like one of the biggest challenges is for even the A&R people to say, okay, what label are you with? That's the first conversation. And then you're like, an independent label called Aquarian. Oh, I've never heard of it. Yes, you've never heard about it. Have you listened to the record yet? Let the record speak to you. You know, so you have to figure out, and it's like, that's a matter of knocking on doors till the first, and then when I also realized that you needed to be booked on festivals. Most festivals, they wanted to know that you had because a booking agency has to be the one that presents your music to the festivals. Most of the US festivals were connected to booking agencies. Every booking agency, before they will sign, you want to make sure you had a label, you had promotion, all of that, because before they even talk to you.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So all of those things where you needed a system, and an institution, and a plan for anybody to take you for serious. Okay. So that's when I realized that I needed to create that system of Afrofunky, which was a club, a place of performance, a place that honored African music, to amplify my music. So it got to a point where I was playing concerts, selling the place out, lines everywhere. Stevie Wonder would come and join me for my concerts over there. So all of a sudden the media was like,
who is this
you have
guy?
to pay attention. You know, and that's how you not a matter of circumvention, but a matter of knowing that you had to create your unique way to attract their attention. And those were the steps that we had to do.
You know, the conversation is getting really exciting, but we need to go for a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about our music space in this country. We talk about the Grammys, and then we'll wrap it up. So again, stay watching Entertainment Review. Today, we're talking to Rocky Dawuni, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, welcome back. Let's get into it right away. We've got a few minutes to wrap up with the conversation. So Harriet will go, Helen will come in. I'll ask mine, and I ask then we are done with the show today. So Harriet,
So I mean, you're here, so I need to ask you this question. I mean, your music carries this powerful message of, social and political consciousness.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to find out how you select these themes and topics for your songs.
The thing is that I don't write. I write based upon inspiration than than themes.
Okay.
And I think it's also my predisposition. I'm a person that is concerned about the state of our world always. I'm a person that is always looking for ways to translate my platform to bring attention to social issues that I see everywhere. I'm also I know everybody goes through issues, it's just human. Yeah. So I want my music to be, something that provides, that kind of inspiration to people when they listen to it. First of all, to feel good about themselves, to feel happy, and also with a level of knowledge that empowers them to be better at what they are doing. So because of that predisposition, my words usually, those are the things that I gravitate towards. And those things usually inform my songwriting in a way that, I don't have much control over it. It's just something that just comes out of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's well noted. But I mean, you were talking about your challenges and your struggle that you had over the years. Now, we have young artists now who are equally really good, very creative.
Yes.
But they have a brand and a style that they are working on. But somehow they are not accepted. So they end up switching in between trends and genres. Now, what can they do really to stand the test of time? Because, you overcame it somehow and then now you're leading. But how
Yes.
can they do that really?
Well, the thing is that, being an artist and starting off, and it's a difficult road most of the time, And being a creative person too, who wants to focus on your creativity, sometimes you don't have the mindset to even deal with the business,
Okay.
So you have to find the right people who believe in you. But, in the long run, everything is about that. People only support things that they feel like there is a certain level of movement, and nobody wants to be the one that will come and inspire you to be serious about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you yourself invest the time in working hard, yourself is unquestionably dedicated to your craft.
Yeah.
And you are pushing it everywhere you go. You are challenging yourself to be the best you can. You're asking the right questions. You are going to the right places to learn it. You are training yourself. If even you have certain people are good when they start off. They don't have a great voice. They're good writers. Okay, I don't have a great voice, so what I need to do is maybe take some voice training. So you know what your weaknesses are. You go and take a voice training to help build yourself up as a holistic artist. You're not good in lyrics. You see somebody who's great lyricist, you go and start learning and all of that. So when you do all of that, I think that it positions you in a way where you attract the right people who come and see you and be like, whoa, if I let this person do what they're doing and I come with the business know-how and also the organizational know-how, we can be able as a team to move forward. That's how it works. And then you, the artist too, you have to make sure your ego is in check. I think that ego burns a lot of opportunities before you get started because certain people immediately, there's really a semblance of some kind of fame. You get more enamored with what the fame is rather than the long pathway that is ahead of you. And you want everybody to stop to hail you. And I feel that sometimes can turn a lot of people off. So I'm not saying that don't enjoy the fruits of the limelight. Enjoy the fruits of the limelight, but don't let your ego be in such a way that it prevents people who can be supportive to you, to help you, and also turn people off who can be able to support you to move. In the long run, having a humble and humility does not mean stupidity.
Yeah.
Humility means that you don't stick your sense of worth in the face of everybody. You let other people appreciate your sense of worth, and you are grateful for it. I think when you do that, you attract the right energy that helps you move forward. I always believe in energy. Energy is how people relate to you and what you give out. So when you are able to position yourself in a way that you are free, people can connect with you, even the knowledge that you need for your music. Sometimes I see that, I come to a certain crossroads and I need certain knowledge, and then you just go walking in the market or walking somewhere talking to everybody. Somebody will just come up to you and give you a statement. Somebody that you don't even think they have insight as to, and give you a statement, and you find out that solves all your problems. And that is how we have to trust that God is always with us, if we are with God.
Yeah. I mean, you've said a lot, and I would have had follow-ups on everything, but I'll leave the Grammy part to Desmond. I know he wants to do that. But I want to touch on something that it's sometimes dear to my heart. You listen to projects, you listen to music, and then you take it from it. Every artist is making music.
Yes.
Most people are commercializing the music so that they can trend, they can have the number one hit or this or that. But I want to touch on the message of music that transcends, which impacts and can cause change. How can an artist not only, dwell on releasing projects, but also use their platform to create a means to address the African system, the injustice, and also other social issues that need solution? How can the artists do that?
We are in an ecosystem where, if you look at our traditional music, just let's go basic to Africa. In Africa, music was never only for entertainment. When children are born, there's music, there's joy, there's singing in our traditional homes. When somebody passes on, there's music, all the Nyumkro stuff, and you go, there's music. When it's festival for celebration, there's music. Music was at the fabric of every aspect of our social system. So as African musicians too, and also, when I talk about African music influencing all kinds of global music. So if we are the roots of the tree, all of these things music has to play that role. A role of inspiring, a role of educating, a role to entertain, and a role to also bring us together, the communal aspect of Africa. So becoming a modern African musician, your lyrical approach and the way you conduct yourself has to have all of these elements being paid equal attention for you to become a holistic artist. I don't have anything against music that only makes you dance. Music that is always about, Charlie, or Dom, and we love our women. But how many of those songs can you make till the women feel you are boring? Or you don't even mean it. So that diversity is something that is informed by our social situation. And I feel that artists have a responsibility. I'm using that word, a responsibility, because that platform is not that God dropped on you. It's a projection of people's love for you that you're on the platform. It's the people who love your music, the fans and all of that, who make you who you are. And the day you take that for granted and diminish the people who give you that, that's the day you also fall from the limelight. So you have to use that limelight and that platform with that level of reverence to when you have the spot, because the spotlight comes in and is gone. So for it to last, that means the music has to play a certain role that is transcendental, that is meaningful beyond the times in which you are producing the music.
Okay. All right, so so what to talk about. The time is fast spent. We've got 1 minute to wrap it up.
1 minute.
The Grammys coming up. I was there when the Grammy CEO came to town.
Yes.
The whole conversation about it. Then the best African performance thing came in.
Yes.
I've seen that this year we're gunning for that again.
Yes.
I've seen Stonebwoy put out flyer. I've seen Amare put out flyer. Lobbying to be there.
Yes.
Apart from yourself, who do you think should be able to win?
It's hard to tell in terms of, you have over thousands and thousands of voting members who are making their decisions. So it's not something that you can just, say, this person is going to be, this person is going to be. That's why I said that in the long run, when people are listening to it to vote, the music is the only thing speaking for you.
Okay.
You know, it's not your. I mean, obviously, when you make a lot of noise, that can influence people to pay attention. But the music has to speak for you. And great that there is an African performance, so it releases the pressure to a lot of African artists in terms of the other competitive areas for African artists to have their areas. So it's going to be very surprising and amazing to see, you know, how that also helps to, you know, but for a global, you know, award scheme like that, I think that that's a very good major step for recognition of the place that is the roots of music. So I'm glad there's a lot of Ghanaian, you know, artists this year who are there. You know, you have, you know, the Black Sheriffs there. Everybody has works that are over there in contention. Stoneboy, you know, Amare, Juice, you know, Africa and Ghana is heavily represented there. So hopefully there's going to be some amazing stories coming out of that.
Thank you very much, Rocky Dawuni, for coming in this afternoon. We appreciate the education, the talk. It was just amazing.